This is the story of how the banyan tree came into my physical awareness in September 2017 in Saigon, Vietnam. I was laying down in a hotel in Saigon, Vietnam, one afternoon in late September when I found myself simultaneously elsewhere. Elleyah, my beloved friend of lifetimes, was making his usual visit, yet we were meeting in a different place, I noticed. We have always met in a space beyond time and space, but something felt different. It felt new. Awake in my physical reality and aware of the simultaneous reality, I saw the dark-eyed Magus levitating cross-legged in the lotus position beneath the canopy of a grand and magnificent banyan tree. The branches hung down low and golden, glittering consciousness, not energy, pure consciousness, flowed from each branch into the ground and then back up through the tree trunk in the movement of the dynamic infinity symbol. "Won't you join me?" Elleyah gestured toward me without making a sound. He never uses words to talk. Instead, his I am consciousness sings simultaneously with mine in a steady stream of conversation that has no call and response. That kind of language is left for human life. No room for misinterpretations or switching from listening to sharing and back, which is quite heavy after you move beyond it. As I moved beneath the banyan's branches, I found too, I levitated in the cross-legged lotus position. Once in this place of no space and no time, its familiarity reminded me I had been there all along with my dear friend. Since before the beginning of time and long after it ceases to exist, I am there now simultaneously as I write and read. After the experience, the banyan tree began to represent to myself and a collective of embodied beings I write with and for, a gathering place in the space beyond the noise. Some might call it Theos or the kingdom. You may call it what you like, but it does not exist in the physical form most humans consider real. You cannot get on a plane to find it. It exists within yourself instead. Perhaps it holds a similar quality of Avalon in the midst of Bretagne, the home of King Arthur, another name by which Elleyah was called, a lifetime story we share together. Another experience of ushering in a consciousness to Earth, a blueprint for what's to come long after the physical body returns to Source. As the banyan tree was adopted by the collective eagerly as our new gathering space, one of the beings marked the flow of life in the banyan tree is a lot like the flow of divine will in the universe of you, in the universe of self. Truly, I sense this intensely. Every new moon, we gather under the glittering gold consciousness of the grand banyan, a reminder to the physical form to check in beyond the confines of the physical world, beyond the veils of Maya. Yet in its timeless, spaceless, gravity-free state of being, the banyan tree is available at any time you wish to show up in your natural state of being. You are welcome to leave all the human mentality and pressure of its density behind and levitate with us, if it is your will, also called the passion for being. Come float a bit and see how it goes. The Banyan Tree Parable. Few words were spoken under the majestic banyan tree. The Magi gathered beneath the shade of its branches and sat cross-legged, though their feet never touched the ground. Their linen shirt tails hovered above the soil as the canopy of leaves swung low in the shifting winds of the Hooghly River. Time stopped. No one could remember how long they'd been there, floating, being, had they been asked. Yet no such question occurred. Then one of the Magi began to think about choices. Was he making the right one? Being here, doing nothing. These questions raced through. His head hurt. Not sure where this foreign voice came from, he dropped instantly to the soft soil below with a slight thud. He found he was hungry, thirsty, and desperate to know what day and time it was as the gravity set in. The other Magi continued to hover, suspended in air, unaware of the ripple in their own river of consciousness. The tormenting thought, looking for a place to spread, to land and feed again, could find no home. It departed empty-handed from the circumference of the banyan tree's hugging branches. One sole Magus, hovering under the tree, looked down at the fallen man and spoke softly to the man who was now laying in the dirt. He spoke so low, the man strained to hear over the loud voices in his head. The will of God is beyond choice, beyond the human condition, my friend. With that, the fallen man began to lift and float into the air once more, his feet tucked easily and neatly beneath him. He found his hunger satiated, his thirst quenched, and time dissolved with the shifting winds of the Hooghly River once again. The following is a quote from an Althar book called Utopia, and it fit perfectly here. I'm not afraid to borrow words when someone says it better than I could. Quote, "A collective of humans is usually understood as a group trying to achieve something together, whereby each individual is required to step back and let go of personal interests. In contrast, a collective of ascended beings, or in this case, embodied beings, is an ad hoc composite of consciousness, a composite of true selves who are beyond any need to act out their personalities. In such a composite, there are simply no classical group dynamics involved. The beings come together for various reasons and for limited periods of time, of no time, to create together, to experience together, or as in right now, convey a certain energy together. Moreover, a collective of ascended, or in this case, embodied beings, of sovereign beings, is totally different from a swarm-like collective of beings who have surrendered to a group and have either denied or not yet experienced their individuality." 1 year after being introduced to the banyan tree by Elleyah, I received a message in the shower in the early fall of 2018. A being came to me and described the banyan tree from an angelic, wide-angle lens perspective. He said, "I am that I am Maitreya, a formless, nameless being of pure Christ consciousness that has overseen the collective consciousness of the planet for eons. Up until this point, those who hold space for the Christed consciousness of the planet Earth have rarely been embodied. There have been few to grace the planet with their embodied presence, and to a large degree it has been left to and handled in the angelic realm since the creation of Earth in physical form. This body of work, both human and divine, has ushered in the new age and now the new energy. In the new energy, the human form and divine nature no longer have the boundary of separation. What you might see in the angelic realm is now exactly replicated in the physical world. For as you in your embodied enlightenment experience have become one with self, fully integrated human and divine with no separation, so too have the angelic councils and their physical earth representations. It takes an integrated being to see the integrated space of the former councils, which are being broken up and restructured along with each of you who are making those changes within yourselves for yourselves. The implications of that are infinite. With the introduction of the banyan tree by Sarah and El Moria, the space was created for a place to show up and allow, without the noise of ever-changing structures, the radical shifts to roll through in a sovereignly supportive space. As the overseer of this realm, through all major planetary shifts, I too am giving what you might call a resignation letter of sorts. We all are, in a way, in hopes of redefining our place in the quantum shift that is the new energy and the end of the hierarchy of New Age. The mystery schools have closed their doors. Many angelic councils have imploded. And what is needed is a space that no longer relies on hierarchy and the divide between human systems and angelic structures, but a place where the two meet in complete integration. Right now, that place is the banyan tree. I appreciate the invitation to join in the celebration beyond the duality of human and divine. It is unmistakably here at the perfect moment beyond space and time. With honor, Maitreya. The banyan tree is available to you and to any soft, sovereign being in all of creation. We are Sarah and Moria and Katumi, and we are love with you.